Hey everybody, welcome to McFarland Minutes. I'm Natalie McFarland, founder and president of McFarland Productions, director at Off Your Rocker Films, and your host. In these episodes, you can expect deleted scenes, in-depth campaign reviews, project highlights, marketing concepts, book reviews, and a deep dive into the creative process at Off Your Rocker Films. We'll also be covering invaluable lessons on mentorship, leadership, and the business of it all. We are so excited to be releasing our episodes every Sunday as your soft launch to Monday. Hey everybody, welcome to McFarland Minutes, your soft launch to Monday. This week we got the chance to visit with none other than Bob Tallman. We are super excited about this conversation and the fact that we were able to visit with Bob here as he's on the mend, coming home from Houston with a little bit of a medical deal. So adding my little intro here, next up you're going to hear our conversation sitting in the dining room of Bob Tallman, where we talk about a lot of ag-related things and focus primarily on what it really takes in ranching and agriculture and how to be successful in that world in today's day and age. So I hope you enjoy this conversation. Thank you, Bob, for being part of the conversation. As always, great to see you.
We're the only industry in the world that pays retail for all of our services and goods, and we sell wholesale.
There was a president that said something about that, right? Was it FDR?
No, it would have been Reagan was probably
Reagan.
the
You're right.
biggest and greatest supporter.
Yeah, you're right. It was Reagan.
Educated farmers don't always have the knowledge
Sure.
of what the land can do because they're off for 4 or 5 years going to college, having a big time, and they come back. Well, the system's totally changed. And they go, well, hell, I wouldn't be doing that. Well, Grandpa did it that way, and they did just fine. So they come in, well, we got to regulate the numbers. We got to do this. We got to do that. Go regulate Mother Nature.
Yeah. If we could just, talk her into doing what we need her to, that would be wonderful.
So you use Mother Nature to your best advantage. And when she's not nice to you, learn how to capitalize on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of want to go back up just a little bit. Bob, you're one of the most incredible people in certainly the rodeo industry, definitely the beef industry as well, and just so admired by so many people, and your whole family is. The Tallman name is so well respected in all of the industries you've had impact in. What do you say to a young rancher who maybe doesn't have the generational option, right? And how do they, either working with you as a real estate agent or anyone, right? How do they live in this world? How do they start a mini version way behind 3 TVs?
That question does not have a definable answer.
It doesn't.
See this book? You've read the Bible.
I have.
And you did it naturally.
I did.
God didn't come to you one night in the dark and say, if you don't read that book, you're going to die in 2 days.
Nope, did not.
Okay? Doesn't work that way.
Right.
If you do not have a strong leg in faith that you can talk to when you're by yourself, to either tell you, don't make that decision today, hold on a minute, go find somebody to help you. Find somebody who's faith-based. I don't care whether they're Catholic or Mormon or Protestant or Baptist or whatever. Find somebody that is faith-based. That immediately will let you take 2 or 3 breaths and start to think about, okay, what I say this minute and how I act the next minute of how I am going to profit. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about success.
Yep.
If you are willing to get into the world of agriculture today, and it's mechanized agriculture.
Yep.
If you're willing to get into the cow business today, if you're willing to get into the cotton farming today, you have to be in the right regions and areas.
Yep.
I live 150 miles from the nearest cotton farm. 100 miles from where they grow dryland cotton.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're betting on Mother Nature.
Oh, so much gambling on Mother Nature. Yeah.
Now I'm going to throw something in that a lot of people wouldn't think about. I want to be a cotton farmer because my best friend's dad's a cotton farmer. And if his crop fails, he's going to get a government subsidy check. Okay? Now, they teach this in college.
Yeah.
Of how to farm the government.
Mm-hmm.
Bad.
No. Yeah,
Bad.
It's not good at all.
That's basic.
We could talk about other programs that are similar, but let's not fire you up that much.
Well, the thing is, if you are not educated in a manner, whether it be college or by generation,
institutional knowledge.
Yeah. So when you become faith-based, and you need to understand, one of my opening statements in this visit today was, we're the only industry in the world that pays retail for everything we do, including our lifestyle.
Yep.
We'll get to taxation in a minute. Where we pay everything. We pay retail to sell our product at wholesale, so the end result product can be manufactured to have a price to where it's affordable for everybody else, not just to eat, mm-hmm. to wear clothes. Mm-hmm. You're probably looking up the wrong river.
Yep.
Now, I know some of the best farmers I know are first-generation farmers.
Yep.
Some of the worst farmers I know are 10 generations old.
I'd agree.
Now, let's put a slant in that, and let's talk about ranching. Mm-hmm. Totally different than farming.
Completely different cycle situation.
And if you're going to have livestock that you're going to raise and finish, you better be a good grassman in order to be a good cowman.
Yep.
Because if you don't know how or where to move cattle to better grass seasonally and how to protect that grass, you'll never make it, period. I know a lot of farmers that don't have cattle, mm-hmm. but they're the finest farmers by tonnage, by product evaluation that there are in the world today. So you want to be a farmer. So you want to be a rancher. Some people marry into it. Some people buy into it. Some go to my bank, Ag Texas Farm Credit Services. They borrow the money, and they go to work.
Yeah.
All right, about the time you think you got everything going your way, we get in a world conflict, and taxation does no longer have profitability in it, so they raise the taxes on it.
Sure.
On a ranch, most every place in America, we have what's known as a Homestead Act. Mm-hmm. You pay higher taxes on a house, so the bigger the house you have, the bigger your taxes.
Right.
The more land you have is taxed at a totally different rate, 1%. Right.
Yeah, even true of our tiny little 5 acres that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here I have a 10-acre homestead. There's 3 families that live here. We pay exorbitant taxes on our homes.
Yep.
Well, everybody wants a big house. Everybody wants a long driveway. Mm-hmm. They all want pretty green grass and trees around it. Mm-hmm. I gave that up a long time ago in the cow business. My pretty grass in the front yard is not going to be grazed by the cattle.
True.
A paved driveway does not make my cows any fatter.
No.
So you don't, but then you make some money doing something. You want to buy a Lexus. You want to, have the finest Cadillac car because you want your family looking good where they're going. Well, we better pave the driveway so we don't have to go to the car wash as often.
Sure.
How your lifestyle is put together over the years. Short driveways and small houses with a good farm make money.
Yeah.
We're all in it to make some money.
Yeah.
So then you have a drought. And that educated farmer that doesn't understand ecology goes broke because he had a 2 or 3 year drought. And then the years leading up to it, the year or two of the drought shut him down. Or her. Some of the best farmers I know are women.
Yeah.
And some of them, women pay attention better than men.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Women, they look at the land and they see everything. Men look at women on the land and go, well, she's cute. Maybe I ought to marry her because she's got a farm. And normally, she can outwork the man. That's the next thing.
Resilient.
What are your work ethics? What are your work ethics? Mm-hmm. I got a lot of friends all around me that have had generations of people that worked at Lockheed, the GM plant in Arlington, building GMC and Cadillacs. And they all want to come back to the farm. Then they get upset because their kids don't want to come back. Mm-hmm. Well, what's the number one thing that runs kids off the farm? The first thing is they've never been off the farm and they go to college and they get away from their mom and dad. Rules change.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bistro is a lot closer.
Yeah.
And mom's not there to tell you when to go to bed or get home.
Right.
So they find a happier life with a better education in town. Mm-hmm. They love driving out in the country to the farm for an escape. Mm-hmm. Not everybody can be a farmer.
Right.
They're not the winners.
Not everyone's cut out for that.
But nobody is told once they've been in a ranching family like I have for 5 generations that if you don't become a rancher like your dad, your grandpa, or your great-grandfather did, doesn't make them bad people. And so they go to town in the technical world we live in today. They become a software genius. God bless them for doing that. Mm-hmm. Their software is going to help me operate better.
Yeah.
I love educated people around me on the ranch. I love the technical people around me in the rodeo world. Mm-hmm. I love to be around smarter people than me at something, mm-hmm. so I can learn how they're created, how they continue to be, hosts of knowledge, mm-hmm. and I love to share that knowledge. Just a quick note. In 23 days in Baylor St. Luke's, over this E. coli infection that I had, mm-hmm. lots of nights, midnight till 5 in the morning, I visited with people who were born and raised in West Africa, Ghana. Mm. They're brilliant. They start going to school when they're 3 or 4, and it's education till they become, trained in the field that they want to be in.
Sure.
And the field of infectious diseases is so big, I had no clue.
It's very big.
Okay. St. Luke's is known as one of the great hospitals of the world in the heart division of life. Dr. DeBakey, that did the first ever heart transplant.
Yep.
When my daughter was 14 years old, I watched her watch in the sky in that hospital a heart transplant.
Wow.
She went into the medical field when she graduated from Bozeman.
Yeah.
Later in life.
Yeah.
She went from there into cardiac rehab.
Right.
Then a set of twins showed up, and that changed a lot of things.
Well, that happens.
Okay. When I give credit to someone for saving my life, I'll give it to those doctors and nurses at St. Luke's.
Yeah.
Was I going to die? Well, the surgeon said, you've got something that's going to kill you if I don't kill it. Mm-hmm. And I said, tell the guy to push the button, put me to sleep. Mm-hmm. I cannot say enough praise over what them people did. And it hurt like hell. Mm-hmm. I was a zombie for 25 days.
Yeah.
I am on the mend, on the heel, and I'm going to live to be 100.
Yeah.
So I can
more than that, I hope.
I can share that story whenever, with whomever is often will not be fast enough.
Yeah. I think a lot of this too, talented doctors, of course,
Oh,
and blessed hands, but a lot of it's right here in this book.
I talk to more people that I will never see again in the medical field in the last 30 days in depth. And 90% of them will lead with the comment, well, God wanted me to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so their gift to the world is faith-based. If your gift to the world is agriculture and you are faith-based, all the conversation we've had for the last 12, 15 minutes is null and void.
Yeah.
Because faith will give you that, your desire in your heart to learn, and then how you become the applicator of that knowledge day to day.
Mm-hmm.
Then you learn how to live with Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
Then you learn how to live with making it work with what you have.
I love where this conversation went because it was pointed out to me recently in an interview that ranching and farming is one of the oldest recorded jobs, professions.
Oh, yeah.
It's in the book of Genesis. So is healthcare.
Healthcare and knowledge of your region.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we don't have the same patterns here as they do in Sparta, Wisconsin.
Oh, no, of course not.
New York, totally different than L.A.
Yeah.
British Columbia, Seattle, totally different than Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton, Alberta to the north, of all these places I've lived and worked, to Houston, Texas in the south. So again, if you are smart enough to be faith-based, it will give you time to study.
Mm-hmm.
Ask people who you know that know more about what you're doing or where you want to go than talking. I was 16 years old. I became a brakeman on the Western Pacific Railroad in Winnemucca, Nevada. Mm-hmm. And I was a good brakeman. I could have been a conductor by the age of 20. But I wanted to go to college and rope. And
that dang roping will get you.
But 11 years as a member of the Brotherhood of Railroad Trainmen, I learned something that when somebody saw that I cared, somebody saw that I learned, and I could go do it without their help, I got more recognition from that and personal profit than the money they paid us.
Yep.
And the money was amazing.
I bet it was. I've only heard
amazing.
Stories.
And they have a great retirement program. They got great healthcare programs. Okay. I've never lived and worked in a job to where there was, okay, when you're 65, you retire. When you're 70, you can do this. And live on limited income? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. Here's the next thing about ranching and farming. You become diversified. Mm-hmm. So that in the winter when all of your summer's work is being used to keep all your livestock alive, or in the winter when your crops are down,
dormant,
totally dormant, what are you going to do to create an equal income as you had in the summer? And then you better have either knowledge or good people to help you from an accounting standpoint to how to balance your books.
Yep.
I know lots of major organizations run by lots of people that I wouldn't let balance my checkbook.
Sure.
Because they have no practical knowledge of practical experience of practical profit and loss.
Right.
Numbers are great, but you can't manipulate them.
There has to be a reality associated with it.
At the end result, you've got to take a deep breath at the end of the day and say, praise God, thank you for what's behind me. And Lord, I'm ready for whatever you deliver tomorrow.
Yeah.
And some people say, well, I can't do that without the weatherman. Don't give me that.
Yeah.
Keep your mind open.
Yeah. When we sat down here, you asked somebody to bring your Bible over here, and then you flipped to a pretty specific page. Do you have something in mind?
Well, I want to see what I studied last. And pardon my Bible, it's quite beat up.
I love this though. For everybody listening, there's sticky notes, there's tabs, there's highlighters, there's notes in the margin.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like to go to areas in this beautiful book that I might not be as well aware of. I visited with a dear friend of mine named Ed Hendy. He owns a Taste of Texas restaurant in Houston.
Yep.
Brilliant scholar. Another one is a guy named Mike Valentine.
Yep.
Who is following his father-in-law's footsteps and runs a massive ranch and diversified parts of that ranch outside the cattle in Gale, Texas. And the book of James, without my glasses, can you find that for me real quick?
Sure, book of James for you.
Yep, right there should be. Okay.
Book of James.
The book of James. It's a letter from James, one of the shortest books in the Bible.
Yep.
Okay? It is like 5 chapters. You need to understand that in the final book in James, my leading thing was draw near to God. God will draw you for your riches, your patience. Work in God's will. Ranch or stay in Montana. Okay? I had a choice at one time, and it was amazing. One of the things it says, don't let this happen. Be patient with those who hold court of and over me. And if it's based on money, watch your ass. I wrote that in my Bible. My soil, my toil will receive its rain. Okay, rain is more than water that falls out of the sky.
Sure.
Do not speak against one another. He who speaks against a brother or judges his brother speaks against the law and the judges of the law. But if you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know so many people come up with something real quick, and this is a power page in the book of James. Characteristics. You build your own characteristics. You build your own reasons for how you look, what you say, and how you're going to be thought of.
Yeah.
And in a moment ago, you said how well respected my family is. It's not just me. I'm carrying on the characteristics of 5 generations. 1903 actually came in 1895. My great-great-uncle came from Italy.
Yep.
He raised horses for the cavalry in Montana. In 1903, he moved to Denio, Nevada. He drove 80 head of mares, 10 studs with 10 dogs in the winter.
That is a cold territory in the middle of the winter.
Yes. And settled in northern Nevada. That old man died when I was 13 years old. And I rode that day my little horse, Mustang horse that I had been given. We roped him in a bunch of 150 head of horses.
Yep.
And I rode that horse every day. But that day, the nurse called my mom and said, tell Bobby to come with his horse. And there was a tree outside the window in the room he was in. He was only 93. And so I rode my horse to that window, tied him up so he could see him out the window, tied to that tree. And I went in, and he passed. Okay, what do I have left? Every day of my life as a little boy, I had an opportunity to learn, hear, feel everything all around me on a pretty rough and rugged ranch in northern Nevada. Okay. He used to tell me stories, short ones. And he'd tell me, now don't say anything. You listen to what I say.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Then form your own opinion. He spoke real broken English. And then maybe 3 days later, he'd ask me about that.
Mm-hmm.
And in this book of James, so short but so powerful, are the headlines. It begins with consequences, characteristics, true wisdom. Who among you is wise and understanding? Let him show you his good behavior, his deeds, in the gentleness of wisdom. The smartest people I know don't yell.
Mm-hmm.
And the smartest people I know that can take lead of a conversation are people who listen and think before they speak.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Bible verse of the day.
I love that.
The day you're born, you start to find out about the purpose of trials.
Mm-hmm.
Your first trial is to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Your second trial is nourishment. And your third trial is growth. When you understand the pedigree of trials, let no one say when he is tempted, I'm being tempted by God. God does not tempt you. He won't lead you into temptation. And he'll watch you in temptation, come up with a bad decision, and normally your punishment is loss.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a bad business decision? What do you lose? Productivity and income.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a personal decision? You lose a friend. Friends are the most profitable things you can have because they're the things that you can emulate to maintain existence.
Mm-hmm.
Emulate the wrong person is the cause of death.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm going through this, what I said a minute ago about emulation of people, the word, this you know, my beloved brethren, but everyone must be quicker to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. For anger of a man does not achieve the righteousness of God.
Mm-hmm.
Patience, patience, patience. And it goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
When you get home, get your Bible out,
Mm-hmm.
and you beat up. I'm sorry, I can't. So my Bible's hard to read.
Beat
these
up
days.
Book of James.
Well, there's parts of the Bible I don't understand.
Oh, man.
And there'll be the pages, my kids,
That's cute.
twins born.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I ever showed you this or not. Alan Bach, world champion team rower.
Yep.
Great Christian leader. Gave me this, and it says, when Satan is knocking at your door, simply say, Jesus, could you please get that, away from me, far from me.
Mm-hmm.
Balance of our relationships with God, 1 to 10. Okay? Now you can see what it says. Your job, your friends, your ministry, your spiritual faith and grace, your study, your quiet time, and your fun.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure your fun is last on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have the balance of all of these, you'll start to have fun before you even know it.
You had fun doing all the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bob, I don't want to keep you too long, but I can't tell you every single time we visit, I feel like I glean just 100 golden nuggets from you.
I hope we get to do it often.
Me too.
Again.
Me too. It was fun. Thank you for letting me come, and I'm glad to see you doing better and all of that. So
I'm good.
yeah.
I'm missing part of my foot that'll grow back. And again, I want to give credit to Baylor St. Luke's, the doctors, the nurses, and my wife.
Oh,
She
man.
was there at the moment, the first day, and it's been 35 days. And I just pray that she stays strong.
She's a tough lady.
Yeah.
She's a tough lady.
But
could have her.
The friendships that you and I have seem like attacked each other immediately, and all it does is get bigger and better.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship that I have in my world that I can share with you. And it's not just knowledge of the Bible, but that's where it's all based on.
Yeah.
And I still say, thanks to the world, it's allowed me to do what I've done all these years. I'm going to take a little vacation for about 90 days, mainly because you can't go through an airport like this. And deacceleration is good for people once in a while. So you don't come back wanting to go faster.
Yeah.
You want to do it safer.
It's time to heal.
More is less.
Yep.
Put it back in the rodeo perspective in the calf roping.
Yep.
Sometimes you've got to slow down to be faster. And in life, sometimes something will put the brakes on to where you nearly lose your life. And I'll never forget the words of that surgeon. You have something's going to kill you if you don't let me kill it. And I looked at that anesthetic guy. I said, push the button.
Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm thankful for them. And Bob, you require no introduction, but man, I'm glad to have you here, and thank you.
Will I see you soon?
Oh yeah, you will. Oh yeah, you will. I'm going to be back in May, I think.
Awesome.
For some things, so I'll come see you.
Thanks, Nat.
Thanks.